Okay, let's come to another episode of Smartphone Design from Saku Technology. I'm Ibrahim Saku, and I'll be taking you through. Today, you'll be learning the introduction of Pixel Lab. Today, we'll be talking about the introduction of Pixel Lab. Now, this is the Pixel Lab. This is the Pixel Lab. You can download the app. There's a link on the description, so you can follow the link and download the app, or you can just search straight on Play Store, Google Play Store. But one thing, the app cannot be found on Apple Store. iPhone is not applicable. It's only Android. Okay, so let's tap on it. Okay, now this is how the app look like. When you open it, this is how it look like. These are samples that you can use, or you can say template or something like that. Yeah, that you can use. This is my project. When you do a project, anything you design, you can save it as my project, and if you want them back, you can just tap on my project and get them. So right now I've designed this to Satek and the wedding invitation, so you can get, I can tap on it and start editing it straight away. Okay, this A down here, this A is for text editing. This is where we edit text. Like for instance, this new text, if I want to edit, I'll just tap on this edit, easy, new text, and I can change it to introduction to Pixel Lab. This is it. Now this is it. The A is where we do this one, and this delete is if I want to delete it. The copy if I want to copy it. You see, good. And look at something. Okay, the introduction. Now let me delete it. You see, I've deleted it. So I'll tap on it. You see. So if I want to move it, if you have many layers and you want to move a layer to front, you use the to front. To back is to move it back. Position, you can use it to position it. You can increase it and be, you see, that is the position. The relative position is that will help you to position things exactly in the middle. Or so let's place it here and let's tap on this thing. You see, exactly in the middle of that line. But if you press down here, it will bring it exactly in the middle here. You see, if you press here, it will send it the other side. Tap on this one, send it the other side. Tap on top, down, the middle, it will send it exactly center, and this one will place it in the middle. That is the relative position. That is its way. The size, you see, this is what the size do. Okay, then let's go to padding. The padding left, look at the text. You see, it will move it left, and you padding right, it will move it right. You see, that is basically what the padding do. The color of the text. What color do we want the text to be? This, you can select gradient color for it. You see, different colors. We can give it different colors. Okay, I'll be giving it this color. It's not that. Okay, let's go with this color. You see, this is the color, and we can choose to give some specific. You see, you can use this here and adjust it. Let me say the eye. Then you go to color and we change the color of the eye to maybe white. Let me make it, yeah, let's say white. And the color of the T also white, and the color of the P also white. So we can use this. If you want the whole pixel art to be white, you can select the whole pixel art and make it white. If you want only this, we can select it and change the color. If we can select it and change the color. So only the P white. This is basically the color. The texture is different from color. You see, texture is when you use an image as the background for it. You see, so but mainly before, if you want to choose the texture, first you have to make sure your color is off. Okay, this one. So let's go texture. So you can select a texture for it. You can select this and add the texture for it. So you see the color have changed, so the texture has become the background color for it. So we can adjust it anyhow we want. You see the changes? Good. That is basically the texture. The opacity is how bright it should be. If you want it to show, or if you want it to, you see, the opacity, how you want it to appear. That is opacity. The rotate, we all know rotate. Mask. Okay, let's talk about mask. Mask is, let me say, if you want to remove some part from it, you see, so just on it. You see, the downward part is if you want to remove the whole of this. If I want to do anything to it, you see, that is basically the max. You can do it in or out. The out, it will only leave with those inside. For the in, those inside will go. That is basically the mask. Now let's go to font. This is where you select a font for your test. You see, we have different type of default font. You see, these are all default font that we can use. So let's go with this one. With this one, I can decide to also change the font for particular thing. Let's say this I. You see, only the I. Then I'll come to this, only the I can select, like how we did with the color. You can select some part and give it a specific color, or so for the font you can also select a part and give it a particular font. So I'll go with this T. Okay, I'll go with the PNT. Now let's come to the I and give it. Okay, we will leave it this way. Okay, basically this is our distance. So we can use also this ones to reduce the size of it, or we can use it to reduce or expand. Like this, you could reduce it, and this expand. We can use it to bring it or expand, to reduce and expand it this way, so that it will be in one line. Okay, introduction to Pixellab. So now this style where we can make a text bold, italic, underline, or you see, this is where we can do everything. We this one to the same. We can either select a section, or we can select everything, or just some distance. So we can either, you see, bold the whole text, or if you don't want to bold it, we tap on this T. If you want to cancel something, bold. If you want to cancel, we tap on the T. Italic, you see, if you want to cancel, we tap on the T. Underline, if you want to cancel, we tap on the T. We can only select the introduction and underline it. You see, we can only select the part and underline. We can choose to select the Pixellab and underline, so only the T will not be underlined. Or we can either choose to make the T italic. You see, we can choose to do anything we want with it. So the curve, bending, if you want to bend it, you see, if you want to bend it, that is basically the curve. Background, if you want a background for it, you see, this is the background. So we can select, let me say, black for it. and we can, you see the pattern, this is where we will see the pattern more. Let's say left pattern, we can choose to increase it. You see, if we increase it, it will increase, so the text will only be at one side. You see, we can choose to also decrease it and make only the background here, so the introduction will not be on the background. We can only make it to the pixel up, or we can only make it to the 2. You see, these 2, then we use the right pattern to also bring it here. You see, introduction to pixel art, or we can pad the top if anyhow we want the pattern should be, anyhow. Okay, so that's basically the background. The this thing, the alignment. Let's go to the alignment. The alignment, let's come to the editing first, and let me show you one thing about the alignment. Okay, this, from this thing, it has been aligned to center. Good, it has been aligned to center. So if you want to align it this way, you see, we can align it this way or the center. That is basically the alignment, this or the center. That is basically everything about the alignment. Okay, then let's come to spacing. If we want to space it, you see, well, we can space the letters or the words. So look at the introduction, look at the introduction to the T. The introduction, you see the way they are spacing the INT, the way the space is going. Okay, and this, we can use this to bring it back to default. Okay, so let's do this. See, after doing this, I can tap on this one to just bring it to default, and the word spacing, space the words, so the introduction will remain, but the space between the introduction and the 2 will expand. You see, the introduction, the two and the pixel lab, that is basically the spacing between the words. Okay, now let's go to line spacing. You see, the introduction to pixel lab and this sh something. You see, the spacing is not that, so we can choose to increase the spacing. You see, we can choose to reduce it anyhow we want. You can increase or reduce it. That is basically about the line spacing. Stroke is giving it outer. You see, this is basically about the stroke. That's it. And we can also change the color of the stroke to any color that we want, black, white, any color that we want. We can also select gradient color for the stroke, like this, introduction to pixel lab, anyhow we want it. So let me leave it this way. That is about the stroke. And we can also choose to increase the stroke, this or this, decrease. You see, this or this. So let me leave it this way. Shadow, we can also decide to give it shadow. You see, we can also do any color we want for the shadow. We can give it. We can decide to increase the opacity or decrease the opacity of the shadow. We can increase the blur radius, you see, or decrease it. We can the outer glow. Good. We can decide to bring it anyhow we want it. You see, anyhow we want it. Let me. We can decide to make it anyhow we want it. Maybe this is too dark and I want to make it a bit white, so I can tap on this color, this plus thing, you see, and work on the color. So tap on it, it will open like this way. Which of the colors do I want? I can select any of them, any of the colors here. I can select any of them, but in this situation I want black. This is the black, all right. You see, the final color, the one that I've selected, no, the one that will work, will be here. So this is what I'm working to change. So maybe even if I select this one, you see that one is still black. So I have to work on these things. I have to use this thing to adjust the color. So you see how it's now changing. Isn't good. So let me bring it exactly in the middle like this and change the color small. Maybe this one, then I tap on OK. You see, I don't like it this way. Then I'll go back again and work on it. You see, but this one is also, I would say, is the opposite of the color. You see, basically like that. So I can choose to bring it this way to make the color transparent. You understand on this as we move on, to make the color transparent. Okay, that's basically the stroke, the shadow. We have the inner shadow. You see, the stroke is more of like a outer shadow. Yeah, we haven't gone to shadow. Okay, yeah, the inner shadow. You see, the shadow was more of like outside. You see how the shadow will go outside and those things, but the inner shadow, no, it will come inside. That dark distance will come inside. You see, it will come inside. So we can decide to adjust the color or anyhow you want, like the main shadow. Okay, emboss is like how we want the thing to glow, or like how we want it to listen. So we can choose to increase it anyhow we want. Good. That is the problem I'm having with the app I'm using. Okay, right now my app for the emboss is having problem, so let's skip for that one. But as time move on, we will come to understand the emboss. Perspective, this one we can choose to increase. Look at how the thing will be like, the structure, and to decrease this one, basically the perspective. Then on it, you see how it is. Look at it, introduction to pixel app. So that this one is basically how the perspective is about. We can choose to increase or decrease anyhow we want it. You see, you can choose it to do it anyhow you want it. Okay, and 3D rotate. 3D rotate, if you want to rotate it 3D, you see, 3D, anyhow you want to rotate it. And we have the main 3D. So you can choose to let it go up or this way, or we can select this depth, how you want it to go. Let's show this one. You see how you want it to go. Good. So the perspective, I want it to be at, let's say 12. The color too, you can make it auto or anyhow you want it. But let me come to the rotate. You see, we have the rotate on the X, Y, and Z axis. You see, so we can choose to rotate it anyhow we want it. You can choose to rotate it anyhow you want it, and can use this plus and minus sign to be doing that. Good. So this one, let's come to the color. I can choose any color I want for it. Good. Look at something, the color is not working. The color is not working because of one thing. The color is not working because of the stroke, because the stroke is on. If you want that color to work, the 3D color to work, we have to off the stroke. After off, if we off the stroke, then we come to the 3D, then we can now change the color of it. But if the stroke is on, the 3D color will not work. You see, basically this is it, the 3D. So we can either choose to let the reduce the intensity, the shadow, increase the shadow, the distance. Basically this all form part of the distance, the emboss, but we'll come to the emboss later. Okay, now that's 3D text, then 3D shadow. You see, this is exactly the 3D shadow, the blur radius, how we want it to be, and those things. But let me work on this 3D before we go to the 3D shadow. Let me leave it at 0. Okay, basically this is it. Now let's leave it this way. So now let's come to the 3D shadow. On it is the basically that's how it is. Now you can try to reduce the radius or anyhow it is. Expand it or reduce it. Expand. You can increase or reduce. Okay. Now let's leave it this way. You can decide to increase it or decrease the distance. Let's leave it this way. Okay, now basically this is everything about. Then reflection, we also have reflection, how we want it to reflect here, and we can also increase the reflection. Okay, now basically this is about the reflection, the 3D test. Everything now you have to know about the 3D distance. And these are codes that you can get for motivation codes. We have success, like maybe if you are doing a project and you want to type something and you don't have like anything in mind, you can refer to the codes and see if you can get anything. So this basically this is everything we have to know. We need to know about the test editing in Pixellab. Okay, so our next tutorial will be looking at how to edit shape. Okay.